Shalom, Yeshivat Leva Torah family and friends. Before we begin, I want to wish a mazel tov to a number of people, a number of our alumni, to Ben Render on his engagement to Esti Klondeko, to David Lowinger on his engagement to Nava Winton, to Yossi Sheldon on his engagement to Oria Rudik, to Oren Rimon on his engagement to Tiferet Fuchs, and we have two additional mazel tovs, very special mazel tov to Tali and Benji Halpern on the birth of a baby girl, and to Tali and Rav Israel Kushner on a birth of a baby boy. Their first, Ben Sion Moshe, Tali and Benji Halpin also, their first, a baby girl. May you raise them, L'Torah, L'chub, L'masim Tovim, and all those who are engaged to be married. May you build a Bayit Ne'eman B'Yisrael B'Simcha. This week's Parsha, Parashat Acharei Mot, focuses entirely in the beginning on Yom Kippurim and the avoda of Aaron HaKohen there. And in the middle, there's an interesting, a few words even. That a Kadosh Baruch Hu will dwell amongst in Ol Moed and in our lives, even betoch tumatam, even when we are tameh, even when we're involved in sins which bring tuma. So that's okay. Kadosh Baruch Hu, it's not okay, but that Kadosh Baruch Hu will still dwell amongst us. Says the Baal Shem Tov. That may be true in a case where Am Yisrael is sinning, but if a person is a Baal Gaiva, so then a Kadosh Baruch Hu won't dwell amongst him. Then a Kadosh Baruch Hu will not rest his Shechina upon him. A person who's a Baal Gaiva, there's no room for a Kadosh Baruch Hu when a person is totally focused and engrossed in himself. The Baal Shem Tov also mentions this idea by Matan Torah. Before Matan Torah, Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe, "Tell Am Yisrael that you will be the intermediary between them and a Kadosh Baruch Hu." And Moshe says, Anochi omeid beinechem uvein Hashem Elokechem. I will stand between you and a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Baal Shem Tov says it's the Anochi. Anochi means the me, the I. It's all about me. That midah of gaiva, that is what's going to stand between you, Am Yisrael, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu. If we are self-centered, if it's all about us, if we're not looking out for the other, so then there's no room for a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu will not dwell amongst us. B'toch tumatam, if we sin, if we do things that are improper, still a Kadosh Baruch Hu will be with us. But the moment that a Kadosh Baruch Hu sees that there's no room for him, a Baal Gaiva, there's nothing to do. You know, those of you who just got engaged, and for all of us who are married, it's a very big musar for us in our lives that when you're starting something new, you have to realize to recognize the person that you're about to get married to, and recognize that that person should be your focus in your life. When you have a child, now your child, very often we have children, we want them to be mini-me's. We want them to be a reflection of who we are, and sometimes we lose the focus of the child, that they're their own individual, that they're created also b'tzelem Elokim, and they have their own special, unique neshama that every single person does. And by depriving that independence, so it's almost being a Baal Gaiva. It's focused on yourself. You want them to be your image. There's no room for Kadosh Baruch Hu in that. And so therefore, this lesson that the Baal Shem Tov says, in our avoda of Yom Kippurim, the holiest avoda throughout the year, when we go to the Kodesh Kadashim, realize that there's no room. If you want to really grow, you want to really fulfill yourself, there's no room for Gaiva. Because it's all about you, there's no room for anyone else in the world. In the beginning of Kaitzman, we're now about to start the Kaitzman after a beautiful Shabbos, B'ezrat Hashem. In the beginning of Kaitzman, I like to say to the students the following: that the beginning of the year is Elul Zman. Elul Zman is a time, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, for a person to focus on themselves, to do tshuva, and to focus what they want their year to look like. The long Chorv Zman, that's a time where we connect to the community. That's in our case, it's the yeshiva community, but it's a time when community, the Chagim and Chanukah and Purim, and it's all about everyone together. And that's a very, very powerful aspect of what Judaism is all about, the community. But then we have Kaitzman. Kaitzman is not just the individual, it's not just the community, it's the nation. We have all of the Chagei Iyar and Sivan. We have Kaitzman is about Yom HaShoah, and it's about Yom HaZikaron, and Yom Ha'atzmaut, and Lag BaOmer, and Yom Yerushalayim, and Shavuot. All of these holidays, all of these special days, which really connect us to Klal Yisrael in the most profound and unbelievable way. So as we start the Kaitzman, I think this lesson of the Baal Shem Tov, it may be simple, it may be basic, but it's foundational to our growth as individuals. So we don't focus on ourselves. If we're not focusing on ourselves, who are we focusing on? We're focusing on the community. We're focusing on Am Yisrael. We have a tremendous opportunity now more than ever to really support Am Yisrael wherever they are, whether it's in Chutz La'aretz dealing with all of the anti-Semitism on college campuses or in communities, or where it's in Eretz Yisrael where we're fighting a real enemy that is trying to wipe us off the map, to stand up tall and to realize that all of our efforts together combined can bring the ultimate Geula Shlema made happen speedily in our days. Ezrat Hashem, Shabbat Shalom.